City of Philadelphia, I think we need to ask ourselves one question. What the fuck are we doing? No, seriously. What the fuck are we doing? Because apparently, every year, this is the Philadelphia Phillies fan experience. We get Dave Dombrowski trying to convince us every winter that this roster is good enough to win. Then we get to summertime and find out we got the same holes that everybody else could see from fucking outer space. After the 2026 deadline, Dombrowski, you said that the Philadelphia Phillies were very thrilled with the moves that you made. You felt very good about our ball club. Well, there it is, man. That sentence, that should immediately cause every Philadelphia Phillies fan to hide their fucking remote control. Whenever Dave starts talking about how much he likes this ball club, somewhere in South Philly, a fucking relief pitcher starts warming up with a can of gas. You feel good about this ball club, Dave? Dave, the Phillies are 64-57 right now. Atlanta's 72-48. That's not an unstoppable juggernaut moving through the National League. That's a team fighting for a playoff spot, man. Here's the beautiful part. On August 11th, yesterday, this bullpen has a combined ERA of 5.46. Second worst in all of Major League Baseball. Second worst. We're spending championship money to construct a bullpen that looks like it was assembled from people hanging around the last call at Chickies and Pete's. We don't have a bullpen. We have bullshit. And this isn't a new fucking problem. You want some history? Dombrowski, you took over this baseball operations for Philadelphia Phillies back in 2021, right before the season started. The 2021 season, the bullpen finished with a 4.60 combined ERA, 25th in baseball, 34 blown saves, 34. At some point, it's no longer a blown save. It's like a fucking subscription service. Welcome to the Phillies Bullpen Plus. For $19.99 a month, we'll turn your 5-2 lead into a 7-5 loss. And then 2022 comes around. Bullpen ERA, 4.25. 23rd in baseball. Now, let's give credit where credit is due. That bullpen suddenly became excellent in the postseason. They had a 2.62 postseason ERA during that run to the World Series. And the 2023 postseason bullpen initially pitched extremely well also. So I'm giving you that, Dave, because I don't want anybody in the comments saying, Rick, you fat fuck, you didn't tell the whole story. Well, there it is. I told the whole fucking story. That is the whole fucking story. Now, here's the rest of the fucking story. Starting with Game 3 of the 2023 NLCS and running through Game 4 of the 2025 NLDS, Phillies relievers posted a 5.58 postseason ERA. 5.58. And in those save opportunities, 0 for 7. 0 for fucking 7. 7 chances to lock down a playoff game. 7 times Philly got the baseball equivalent of, your call is very important to us. Please remain on the line. I think 2024 proves my point even more. Here's why I'm not just screaming the bullpen always sucks. The 2024 bullpen actually has some serious talent. Remember Matt Schrum, the Moss? 1.87 ERA. Jeff Hoffman, 2.17. And Kirkland, he was on fire that year for 2.29. The Phillies became the first team in baseball ever to have 3 pitchers to make at least 60 appearances and 70-plus strikeouts and ERAs below 2.40. Great. Congratulations. Then October showed up and you shit the fucking bed. Through the first 2 games against the Mets, the bullpen surrendered 10 runs in 6 innings. ERA, 15. Fifth fucking team. That's not an ERA. That's a fucking credit score. And this isn't simply about finding relievers who can pitch well in May against Cincinnati. I'm asking, who the hell do you trust at Citizens Bank Park is shaking and there's 2 men on and 1 out and your entire season is standing at home plate? Because that's what a championship roster construction is about. Well, then came the 2026 offseason. And Dave, this is where you really pissed me off. After another playoff failure, this team needed big-time changes. As a fan, we were screaming for it. The entire fan base. We needed big changes, not rearranging furniture, not changing which drawer you keep the fucking forks in. We needed changes. The Phillies reportedly got extremely close to Bo Bichette. Remember that? Then that fell apart. And then what did Dombrowski eventually say? I think we're content where we are at this point. Content? Phillies haven't had a World Series win since 2008. And we're fucking content? You know who's content? My dog after she eats and passes out on the couch. A baseball executive running an aging, expensive team that's been bounced from October 3 straight years should never be content. He should be fucking paranoid. You should be walking through Citizens Bank Park at 3 a.m. every morning going, how do I get more relievers, another bat? You should be stressing, man. That's your fucking job. And yes, they made some moves. And before anybody gets cute, I'll say that. Dombrowski did do a few things. He managed to re-sign Kyle Schwarber, right? He managed to give JT Realmuto that stupid fucking 3-year deal. Brad Keller was signed. He fucking sucks. Bolin came over. And Adolis Garcia was brought in. So I'm not saying Dave literally sat in his office playing Candy Crush for 4 months, although I'm pretty sure he did. My criticism is like, did the Phillies meaningfully correct the flaws that kept ending their seasons? Because their big right-handed outfield gamble, Adolis Garcia, well, he wound up batting 195 with a 599 OPS before his season was derailed. So congratulations. We changed the name on the back of the jersey, but the problem seemed to survive the surgery. Now, you want to talk about Bryce Harper? I think this one still bothers me, Dave. After 2025, Dave Dombrowski went public and questioned whether or not Bryce Harper was still an elite player. You know who's not elite at their job anymore? You fucking jerk off. Harper had hit 261 with 27 home runs. He did have 75 RBIs, and by all accounts, it was a down year for Harper. But let's not forget that he spent about a month on the injury reserve with a wrist situation and just was never right for the full year. So was that a peak Bryce Harper? No. But that's not the fucking point. And what was Bryce's response? Well, basically, why the hell wasn't this handled in-house? He wanted to know why Dave Dombrowski went public with it. And why did you go public with it, Dave Dombrowski? Oh, yeah, because you're a fucking asshole. That's why. This organization has problems everywhere, and that's the guy that we're going to publicly challenge? Bryce Harper? The motherfucker who came here when nobody wanted to come here. The guy who embraced Philly, put it on his back. The guy who turned October baseball at Citizens Bank Park into a religious experience. This is the guy we're going to go at? And guess what? That's exactly what happened when they acquired Luis Ariz. Because maybe before questioning whether Bryce Harper can be elite, let's ask the front office, are you still fucking elite? How about that, you fucking jerk-offs? Now, let me talk about the trade line. The trade deadline, the team entered the deadline needing three obvious things, right? They needed a reliever, they needed a right-hand bat, and they needed started pitching depth. So Dave started to make his little moves, right? Luis Arraez, Brooks Raley, Caleb Killian, Colby Thomas. There are useful players there. Arraez was hitting 324 when he came to Philly. Raley, he had a 1.96 ERA when Philly acquired him. So I'm not shitting on these moves just because I'm upset. All right. But here's the problem. Philly just didn't acquire a right-handed impact bat that they were looking for. All right. And despite around 15 starting pitchers being moved at the deadline, we didn't acquire a starting pitcher either. Instead, we're betting on Andrew Painter again. And we're standing around saying, well, hopefully this works. Hopefully. This isn't a rebuilding year number 2. Bryce Harper is 33. Kyle Schwarber is in his 30s. Trey Turner is in his 30s. Real Muto is 35. That's why it made no sense to the 3-year contract that you gave him, Dave. Only because you're a fucking idiot. And Zack Wheeler is 36, okay? The clock isn't ticking, Dave. The fucking clock exploded. Now look at the offense. At the deadline, the Phillies were tied for 28th in all of baseball with a 304 on-base percentage combined. They're averaging 4.38 runs per game, and that's about 16th in baseball. They had ranked one run or fewer 26 times, which is the third most in all of baseball. So the answer was essentially move Harper to the outfield, move Bohm to first, Stott to third, put Arraez at second. We needed reinforcements and wound up playing fucking musical chairs. And don't get me wrong, I love Luis Arraez. I think he's a great player. And I'm excited to have him here in Philly. And I like Luis Arraez. Don't get me wrong. But if your big deadline solution requires half of the fucking infield to forward their mail to another position, maybe we can stop pretending that this roster was beautifully constructed in the first place. And why the fuck is Trey Turner still playing shortstop? You fucking jerk-offs. And I got to tell you, the bullpen is the final insult. Because after all of that, after every October nightmare, after every blown save, watching the leads evaporate, on August 11th, 2026, yesterday, the Phillies bullpen was a combined 5.46 ERA, and that's 29th in baseball. Somebody explain how. How the fuck are we still doing this? Philly should have had a bullpen built like a concrete bunker by now. Instead, every season we're opening the door and finding another collection of guys where half of them make you say, "Oh God, not this motherfucker again." And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Starter goes 7, Phillies might be up 4-2. We go to commercial, we come back, and you see somebody jogging from the bullpen immediately. The entire Delaware Valley says, "Oh, not this motherfucker." And that's not championship confidence. That's a collective trauma. Dave Dombrowski, you've accomplished a few things here. The Phillies went to the World Series. They went to the NLCS. Hey, they won 3 division titles. You made a couple excellent moves. Zack Wheeler's been great. Christopher Sanchez is developing wonderfully. Jesus Luzardo was a great addition to the ball club, and Yoran Duran was probably one of your biggest moves. So this isn't a a revisionist style history. I'm not saying Dombrowski is a complete, utter idiot, or maybe he is. I don't know. Dombrowski, you've had an extraordinary baseball career. But I don't give a shit what you did in Boston. And I don't give a fuck what you did in Detroit. I care about what you do here in Philadelphia. And in Philly, you're judged by championships, not your pretty little cute press conferences or your play role, not we like our club or you feel content. We need the fucking rings. And that's the measurement. And this Phillies team, yeah, they've been good enough to make us believe, but also flawed enough to keep breaking our fucking hearts. Same offensive disappearing acts, same bullpen anxiety, same October collapses, and the same explanations afterwards. At some point, Dave, this roster isn't just unlucky. This is the roster you built. So stop telling Philly how much you like the ball club, because we don't need you to like it. We need you to finish your fucking job. Bryce Harper's prime is not waiting. Zack Wheeler is not getting younger. And my patience, as well as the rest of Philadelphia Phillies fan base, is not getting any longer. You built a team good enough to get us close. Wow, congratulations. Now win the fucking World Series. And Dave, next time you tell us how much you like the ball club, do us a favor. Shut the fuck up and go fuck yourself.